Welcome back, scholars and artivists, the Vision Writers Program. Today we're going to be learning about color fading using monochromatic fades with color pencils and with marker for backgrounds and fill-ins. Welcome back, scholars. Today we're going to be talking about color. You've done a great job developing your tags into pieces, learning lettering. Coloring will help you to get some ideas for your fill-ins and also to do some backgrounds. We're going to be starting off with some basics, talking about monochromatic fades and how to make colors meet together softly in a blend, and then how you can use that in your background and within your lettering. So to start, grab out your color pencils, grab out your marker set. We're going to use the color pencils first. So what I'm going to get out of my color pencil set, I want to get 3 similar colors to practice this technique. So first, let's get our sketchbooks ready. And what I'm going to grab, I'm going to grab a yellow, that's my base, an orange, and let's say this purple. Now what we're going to create today, I'm going to go with a red instead. We're going to create a monochromatic fade. So you want to pull out 3 similar colors of the same bandwidth in order to create this fade. Go ahead and grab your colors from light to dark. You can already see that the colors look very pretty and beautiful. So now what I'm going to begin with, I'm going to start with the bottom color. And essentially, I'm just kind of give myself a little strike box to practice this technique in. For a monochromatic fade, you will have colors that meet each other, that balance with each other, and that you can put things on top of. So I'm going to begin with the yellow. Start with your bottom color and just give yourself a band, fill it in. Now I'm going to go to the orange, give myself another band. I'm going to fill that in. Then I'm going to put the red on there. And I'm going to fill that band in. Now you can do it this way. You see how I'm using the pencil. Or if you want to turn it sideways, you can do it this way for a little broader thing. It's up to you, right? I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. The broader way, you'll be able to kind of get thicker lines and work a little bit less. Now if you see, I have these 3 colors. Now what I want to do is to make them meet by blending them softly at the crossover points. So what I'm doing right now is I'm blending in this orange into the yellow, and if you notice, I'm going over the yellow with the orange first, and making it like a nice soft fade. Then I'm going to bring that yellow back into the orange. Make that a nice soft fade. I'm going to do the same thing with the red. Let me bring this red down a little bit into this orange where they cross over. Then I'm going to bring this orange into the red a little bit so we can get this fade. Just fill it out a little bit more so you guys can see these colors working together. And now what you've done here is you created a beautiful 3-color fade. This one's going from dark to light, and this becomes a great color technique that you can use within your background and within your lettering. Great example, 3-color fade, boom, 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 making the color meet. You can soften this one up. You can even use your finger if you want with the color pencils to soften things up. Okay, so now let's try this again with a different color set. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull some blues and some greens this time. Let me see. Oh, it's a nice light blue, maybe. It's a lighter blue. You see a lighter blue?
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Oh yeah, perfect. Okay. And yeah. So I'm gonna do this time, right? Now there are times, just going back to these colors, if I'm actually planning out a wall or something, I'll put the colors next to my design so that later I'll know what colors it was that I was playing with, and it'll kind of give me some ideas. So with this one, I'm gonna go this direction. And give myself a little strike box again. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna first take my lightest color. Well, let's reverse it. How about we take the darkest color and do that band at the top. Again, you can turn your pencil sideways if you would like for that effect. My speed, it's up to you. Then I'm gonna take the next color, make a band for it. I'm gonna take that lightest blue, make a band for it. Then where they meet, like I said, one, with a colored pencil, you can soften it up this way. But now, come back in, let's take that dark color, bring it down into this one. Probably maybe shouldn't have done that line so dark, but that's okay. Bring it down into here, make that fade. And if you notice with the blending and the fading, as I mentioned before, it's kind of going over it, and to get that effect, take this one, bring it up into this. Really see the fade a little bit. I did a distinct line there. Next time I remember not to go so distinct with the line. Let's see if I can eliminate this line a little better down here. And then I'm going to go ahead, fade that out, fill this in a little bit more, okay? And I'm not even really going to mess with the lightest blue. Remember, you can do this if you'd like to blend it up. And then you have a nice color fade going on there. Beautiful, awesome. Now, I'm going to do a little trick here. Going back to that original color sequence, I'm going to take a dark color and show you how you can put things on top of this fade with silhouettes to make an awesome foreground in front of your background if you were using this fade for a background. So got a dark color, and let's say I'm going to do grass in the bottom. Color that in. So this fade becomes an awesome tool for creating landscape backgrounds. Come up, I'm gonna make even a bigger plant in the front with a silhouette. Maybe a little flower action. So it's now you've been able to take that monochromatic fade and put an awesome foreground in front of it with a darker color. Let's see, beautiful. Now the other thing is that this can be the fill-in for your letters. So one of the oldest techniques and easiest techniques for filling in your letters is by using monochromatic fades going top to bottom or sideways. Some writers in the beginning even would do a chunk of a letter, each spray paint color that they had. So you go, steal your spray paint, you go to the yards, and you're like, I got, gray, blue, and purple. So I'm gonna do those colors and I'm gonna blend them in between, and then I'm gonna outline them in the same color. So your monochromatic fade can go different directions. But looking at this one, this, if you imagine, was the bar of your letter. right? Take another darker color. I'm gonna take a dark blue, right? And I'm going to put, let me see, I'll put a letter on top of this. Put a letter on top of this to show you that this can be your beautiful fill-in for your letter. It's extremely dependable in the sense that you almost can't go wrong. A lot of writers will use monochromatic fades, and everyone pretty much likes it because it just looks dope. I'm putting my 3D on there. So using all the things that you learned before, putting my 3D, right? That is fill-in for your piece letters. Monochromatic fades. Real easy, beautiful techniques. Now you can do your monochromatic fade with different colors. They don't have to be this gradient scale. So let's grab something totally weird from the colors we had. How about an orange, a green, and this dark blue? Flip the page. We'll do another monochromatic fade, but let's change the kind of the size of the fade. I'm sorry, the width. So last time, if you remember, we did our fades even here. How about if we just do the bottom, like this color? Then this one is next. And then the top is going to be mainly that blue. So I'm going to come in here and do the bottom bar, the orange. If you notice, I put a smaller bar here, right? I'm going to soften up this line because we had a little bit of problems with that one before. Okay. Then come in with the light green. And I'm gonna fade these. And remember, the key here is getting those colors to meet and look soft when they meet each other. And part of that, excuse the lighting, is going over both colors. Okay? And then take that dark blue, put that in last. All right, make that a little boom. Start pulling that out, doing my fade. Make it a little soft there where it meets. And just color up that blue all the way up to the top. Soften it up, make these meet so they come into each other. Wonderful. Monochromatic fade, 3 different colors. This can be a fill-in, can be a variety of things that you can build in front of or use within something. Look at this awesome fade. It's beautiful. So now let's do the same thing just to play around on top of the fade. Let's grab an extremely dark color. Let's see. Grab this dark brown. My friend has a dark blue. Let's put some buildings, put some silhouettes on this fade. Color them in. Very simple technique. You're creating your background on top of your fade. Now, of course, you could have drawn your background first. And then built your colors second, if you want. Because markers and spray paint are opaque, a medium that basically is not see-through, and when you put a color on top of a color, it stays there unless you very carefully do fade it. this is a way to think about putting dark onto lighter colors. Now also, because spray paint is opaque, this could go the complete other direction. So this could have been a light color, this could have been a light yellow on top of this, because that would have worked with the spray paint when that doesn't necessarily work with the colored pencils. Now, as my friend is finishing here, I'll go ahead and put these colored pencils away so that we can get ready for our transition into using the markers and learning how to fade with the markers and the blenders. So go ahead, get your colored pencils together, put them up. Okay. And let's go into our marker set now. On the marker set, let's just do the same thing. We'll flip to a new page, and I'm going to remind you that when you're using your markers, go ahead and pull out a page to put in between for bleed through, because the markers will bleed through when you least expect it. So now we're going to get ready to go ahead and get into these markers and do fades with the markers. Peace, Vision Writers. So now we're going to take the same techniques that we just learned with monochromatic fades with color pencils, and we're going to use markers to do it. So do the same thing. Grab 3 colors that are kind of along a similar bandwidth. Let's see, maybe it's the same. I use like this. So very similar to kind of how we did in the beginning. We're going to find the thick side of the marker, right here. We're going to do the same thing. This time, let's go dark to light. So first, put a band of color. All right, nice. Then you're going to do the next darkest color. Now these markers are so awesome because the blend is almost automatic and natural if you have colors that are nice enough next to each other. I'm going to do this lightest color here. Now, if you notice, this one doesn't directly blend as easily as these two. So with the marker, you're going to work it. You're going to go over where it meets. And with these markers, what happens is that you're going over the marker will make it blend really nicely. Okay, let's go down. And if you really want to, but I'm not going to use it right now, save it for later, then you can use the blender as well. So you're going to go on and make the colors meet and blend really nicely. Boom. Very simple. Okay? So dark, middle, light, and then we're actually funny, we have like a lightest one here, not really on purpose. Now, using the same thing that we did last time, we'd like you to think about if this was the bar of a piece. What you can see here is your fill-in in those letters. So basically you have a coloring technique now that you can use within your letters, or just like we did before, you have a coloring technique that you can use for landscapes and backgrounds. Okay? Beautiful color fade. Now remember also that this fade does not have to go top to bottom horizontally, but can go vertically. So now let's do this again. Let's flip to another page. Make sure that you have your little marker protector paper there. Mine isn't thick enough, so I'm actually going to pull an extra sheet to have 2 sheets under the next page. This time, let's mess with like some blues or something, okay, or some greens. So again, you want to pick first? And I'll follow you. That's a good one. That's your darkest. And then get another green in there. Very good. So 3 greens. I'm going to pick 3 blues. This time, because it's marker, like we can go over much wider space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a fade that kind of goes across this part of the paper. Again, let's start with the dark blue, or whatever color you have. Start with your darkest. Okay. Nice. All right, very good. Then come in with your middle blue. Make another band. Then let's slap that lightest blue in there. It's not really that light, but it's a different color. Okay. Now let's start to make them blend. Go over your colors where they meet. That beautiful blend just within there. Let's make these meet. We come back with this blue. I'm gonna go over it several times. Get this to blend. Not the easiest, but the key here, going over it, over it, over it, and then you can bring that dark blue down a little bit. Nice. Bring it up some, help that fade out. You can really, if you want, you can go in on that to get this fade even stronger. Yeah, very nice. It's tricky with that darkest color, right? And I'm gonna darken up the very, very top of that dark color just to make it a little more rich. Monochromatic fade. Now again, turn this sideways, you have a whole another awesome fade. Now, would love to use this to give an example of how you can then, very good, how you can then create something on top of it with silhouettes. So I'm gonna take a black, and if you remember that time when we did the nature, I'm gonna do something very similar here. See, I'm gonna do like some trees and things. But I'm thinking I'm gonna be doing silhouettes. Let's do like a big tree. I'm gonna put some, some little leaves and things on the tree. I'm gonna color it all in with black to make them into silhouettes. Extra leaves on there, make it look a little more tree-like. Color this in. It's going kind of a little fast right now, just to show you what to do. Tree up here. We'll leave a little bit of that purple in there, make that look a little cool, give it a little effect. Come in and just thicken this up a little. Right? Awesome. So basically now use that monochromatic fade going top to bottom, or bottom to top, put silhouettes in front of it with a darker color, and you have this awesome silhouetted background. Now what I mentioned before is that what you can also do is, if you know what you're drawing ahead of time, then you don't have to like color these in. These things may have already been penciled in. So let's say I did my whole pencil sketch of this first, no color. So I knew where the sky was. Then I just did the fade in the sky, and then I could color my trees in the way that I would want. Beautiful. Another nice monochromatic fade. What you could do real quick, why don't you color in this tree and this tree solid so that you can see what it would look like with actual silhouette on it. It's gonna look awesome. So here you have it, team. Some coloring techniques that you can use within your letters and for your background. And you can play with these and do all sorts of things with them. If you notice, I just did this like in a box. It could be in a shape of its own. It could be on a part of your paper or in your background. It could be in the foreground. You can use any colors, and remembering the exercise that we did last time, it's a great challenge to try and blend some unexpected colors as well. Awesome. Okay? So what I'd like for you to do is to go ahead and experiment, but first experiment with the color pencil fades to review. Experiment with your color pencil fades to get a grasp of it and to feel that texture. Blend some different colors than you may expect. Then go ahead into the marker fades and put things on top of it and use them as fill-ins for your lettering and have a good time. All right, Vision Writers, colors, colors, colors. Have fun, team.